XRP holders, are you ready for the next leg of this bull market to begin? That is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be recapping on what we've previously said in regards to what we're expecting XRP's price to do. It's been following that trajectory thus far, and actually the next stage is about to begin. We're going to be showing you all that, starting off on the weekly time frame and going down to the daily time frame and showing you that there is a smaller time frame pattern present that ultimately may have triggered and be the catalyst for XRP to complete this pullback, reverse it, and actually see continuation. Also, historically, what XRP is doing today is exactly what took place going into 2017. So we'll be reminding you of all of that. Then once we've got all the sort of price analysis out the way of, we will then be talking about XRP more fundamentally. And we haven't done a price update in a little while. Today's as good a day as any. Simply just because we've been covering so much of the fundamentally good news out there for XRP that kind of gives us further confirmation in regards to what this asset is going to achieve. So we've got a hell of a lot to get into. Without further ado, let's dive into it. And let's start things off with a nice clean XRP chart. Now, one of the things that we were looking at before this move was the similarity between the price action that's set up that led into 2017 and what we were witnessing, but on a bigger scale. And essentially what you have here is a wedge-like pattern that broke and led to 2017's price action. And once you initiated that run, you actually ran into all-time highs and then pulled back into what was is now acting as support, but previous resistance. So this is what led to some of the price appreciation that we saw in 2017. We're saying a similar thing has taken place thus far and is going to continue to take place. So again, what we're highlighting here is a 7-year plus macro wedge for XRP that ultimately back in November broke, triggered. And this wedge that we have is giving us a price prediction of $19.27. We've not budged on that price prediction. That is still the price prediction that we have. I think it's going to go above and beyond that potentially. Don't necessarily think it's going to stop there. But certainly we've got technical merit based on a macro pattern that leads us to believe $19.27 is ahead of us. Now, just like in 2017, you ran into prior all-time highs and also pulled back to prior resistance, now holding you as support before you then had that continuation. And we're saying we've got a technical target that to reach, you'd have to see continuation. You're also doing the exact same thing that you did in 2017. We're not even talking about fundamentally why you should be bullish on XRP, just technically. And if we drop down to the smaller time frames, to me, you may have on this pullback a bit of a falling wedge for XRP that it may have now broken out of and be on the cusp of reversing this pullback and ultimately continuation, which we're very much expecting based on history repeating, based on the technical pattern that we've got, and now based on a daily time frame falling wedge-like pattern. You'll notice there's 3 moves within this falling wedge. You've got a restriction of price action right into support, also macro support of your 2021 high. Ultimately, there's multiple things that lead me to believe you've got real continuation for XRP ahead of you. And just the falling wedge triggering is likely going to take you back to all-time highs. So you're looking at a 49% rally. And then that's going to factor into the more macro pattern that we have, furthering its journey to the upside. So I don't think you've got too long at all. I think when we look at the overall cryptocurrency space, what we're seeing is a similar pattern across the board, certainly for Bitcoin, for crypto indexes in regards to some of the ETPs that are offered in Europe and more broadly around the world, Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, the altcoin sector, the total market caps. It very much aligns also with what we're expecting for XRP. So to summarize, the price prediction that we have of $19.27 is still absolutely intact. You're very much doing the same thing that you did in 2017. You ran into all-time highs, pulled back. That is a common trait of a chart when attacking all-time highs. It will often maybe put a toe above them and then pull back into them, just like what you did here. Like what you're doing today, you pull back to this sort of prior bull market Resistance now flipped into support, just like you're doing today, before you then see that continuation. And we're expecting continuation based on those factors. And we've got this falling wedge pattern on the smaller time frames, which is present across many altcoins, by the way, that I believe is going to see that continuation take place. So we are bullish, and I think you're at an inflection point here on XRP. Not just bullish on XRP from a sort of price action point of view. We're also very bullish on it fundamentally. I do believe we are currently in the process of building the internet of value. So we're on the internet of kind of information at the moment. The internet of value is where value gets transacted seamlessly, just like sending information does. And it's these ledgers like XRP that are going to enable that and actually play a big role in a new global financial system where the likes of XRP, in my opinion, and I truly believe this is going to be one of the key components at the heart of it. And we see further confirmation of that day by day, whether it was that recent acquisition or whether it's the gameplay in regards to stable coins and real world assets. Ripple's USD, and we know we've got confirmation from David Sachs, Donald Trump, Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and everybody else that has anything to do with the decisions to sort of take part in this are all basically saying we're going to adopt stable coins because they're going to do one, or they're going to do multiple things. One is further democratize and globalize the dollar and strengthen it in regards to a world reserve currency. And also they're going to introduce a buyer, likely the largest buyer potentially, for government debt at a time when government debt is in peril. And Ripple is going to play as an American company. We've always said this, a very key role in that. And really since March this year, we've seen pretty spectacular things, nearly an 8x in regards to, we've gone from sort of 50 million all the way to 300 million in regards to market cap since last month. That's going to continue and snowball and gain traction. And of course, we've heard from the likes of Brad Garlinghouse what the ramifications for XRP in regards to real USD. And you've also got to think about tokenization. There's no doubt in my mind that stablecoins, CBDCs, crypto-enabled money is the evolution of money in the future of tomorrow's fiat currency. In the same way that today, digital money is what we use, and that was sort of enabled by the internet. Crypto is doing the same thing with money today, and it's in the form of stablecoins and CBDCs, which are very much the same thing. And Ripple plays a key role in that. And they're also going to be, certainly XRP, used for settlements between essentially just value more broadly. So a real world treasury, you may be able to actually swap for cash, and XRP will do all that for you and actually be used and utilized in the real world. And then it goes above and beyond that, and we've still got to flesh all that kind of tokenized world and that payment world out. Remember, Ripple are specialists in payments, and we've still got to flesh all that out and still got that to come. But XRP plays a major role in that, as well as the evolution of money. And I think with this price action, certainly on the smaller time frame in regards to this falling wedge, we're seeing it across the board with the altcoin sector. I think you're going to get ETF news relatively soon. And I think it's always important to remember that XRP has 19 ETFs awaiting approval. I think, and I'm going to call this, you're going to get BlackRock file for likely an XRP and Solana ETF before the vast majority are approved. And that's going to be a signal that they are going to be approved, because BlackRock don't miss. That's how we were so confident in regards to a Bitcoin ETF being approved. It was very simply because BlackRock have such a high win rate when it comes to filing for ETFs. So I do think fundamentally XRP is going to play a major role in the internet of value, the new global financial system. It's also going to be adopted as a company in the technology by the US government, in my opinion, to enable stablecoins globally as a US company. Remember, Tether is the main competitor outside the US. I think Tether, by the way, survives. You've also got all this ETF news, and then technically what we're looking at leads us to be exceptionally bullish and telling you that a bright future is ahead of you and you don't have to wait too long to get there. I don't know exactly when XRP is going to, really kick things off, but I'm telling you, you're close based on the fallen wedge, based on the general sentiment, and everything else that we're looking at, perhaps fundamentally. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update as much as I enjoyed presenting it. Lots of sensational fundamental things happening for XRP. From a price point of view, XRP is one of the best looking cryptocurrencies out there. It's why I'm personally invested in it. It's moved in the direction we're expecting it to do so. We're here to say you're on the cusp of continuation. There's an inflection point in regards to this pullback, and upside is ahead, in my opinion. Remember, none of this is financial advice, all just my own opinion. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you all on the flip side.